One, say cheese, Pam.
It's about time.
Yeah. Hey, we want to thank Deborah.
Thank you,
for
Deborah.
a beautiful show. I hope y'all saw some of it.
Oh, man,
she had some. What was the kids called? DC.
Capital Kids.
Capital Kids.
Yep.
Man, they had a hell of a show.
Kids.
Yes, they did.
So we had to let them finish.
Little kids,
and they was
dancing.
good. They was good. They was good.
Oh Lord. Somebody get
man. Listen here, man. Thank y'all for tuning in again. Once again,
yes,
Lounge Boyz. Eventful week. Thanks to everybody in the group. Lounge Boyz in the group. You say it's a lot of stuff going on in there. Make sure you enjoy it. You know, that's what it's there for. It's for entertainment and discussions and opinions.
And who are you?
And who?
Who are you?
Oh, hi. My name's Bradley.
Okay, yeah. What's your name?
My name is Nick, and I'm a cancer.
Hey, and Cheesy on the end. What's your name?
Poindexter.
Poindexter. All righty. And I'm Johnny Wright.
He looked like a damn Poindexter. So let's talk about some past stuff that happened this past week. I can't even pronounce the guy's name. One of the rappers that got was slain.
Triple X.
X.
10 Tenacoin.
Tentashian or whatever.
I thought it was always supposed to be said as one word.
Yeah, he was shot and killed in Florida. They actually caught the guy that did it because the idiot was on social media. And he was sitting there. I don't know. Did y'all see the video with the dude?
Which one? Hold up. I saw 2 videos.
The one where the dude shows the bag that he took, and then his boy was like, "Man, you giving yourself away, man. Why show the bag?" And he told him, "Man, shut up before you next." That's what he told him.
Oh, man.
All right. So did you see the video of somebody with a red?
Yeah, I saw that video.
Around his face.
Had the joint on his face claiming that he killed him and what his last words was and what that meant. See, the whole thing, that was the saddest part of the like all that to me was the dude bragging about it, then say the man his last words and man he said the XX was like, "Man, I got a child on the way, man, don't do this and that," and he laughing and joking about, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, man, dudes like that, they get theirs though.
But why did he do it?
But didn't he say something? He also said something about you know what you did.
Yeah, he said something about you shouldn't have did what you did to my family, or you shouldn't have, whatever. But I heard that it had something to do with him beating a girl, and that was, you know, that came from that or whatever. But
yeah, I saw that too.
I don't know, man.
But so it's a different era, man. Nowadays, people get on there and bragging about it, and which is terrible. And
but the crazy thing is all of the senseless killing. It's like I just talked to a female friend that I've talked to a long time ago, and she just told me that her 19-year-old just got killed at a gas station and wasn't even doing nothing. I'm like, damn, are you serious? And I knew the little guy.
This was here
in Baltimore. And I was like, damn, man. I mean,
it's off the hook up in Baltimore too.
But I'm just saying, the senseless of all these killings. What the hell is really going on,
Definitely
Joe?
Yeah, but it goes along the same
lines. What is really going on?
As with the kid that got killed the other day in the Bronx, coming out of the store. He was dragged.
He wasn't even coming out of the store. He
went into the store.
Hey, we want to send our condolences to that family first before we talk about this story, because that is a tragic situation, and his mother, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure she...
it was family there to witness that shit happened, man.
And it was just unfortunate. But the good thing is they got all the dudes on video. I heard they caught one, and they will have arrested them by the end of the weekend.
If you ever seen First 48, you know the rest.
He on the way.
Exactly.
Man,
and they gave him a Coke in a new book.
Be here together. That man, give me a cigarette. I'll tell you everything that happened. That's all.
A Coke in well, they got them on camera, though.
Yeah, they got them on camera.
They got their face on camera. But at the same time, man, what they...
So did they know the dude?
Well, see, that's what they're trying to figure out.
What was it for?
Because they were saying there is several speculations. They said he got into it with them at the store, but as you can see, they were prepared and they came out of nowhere. So this is something that was premeditated. So they try to say it was gang related, a mistaken identity. So we're not gonna know the truth until
But that's what I was saying. It's like the innocent people is being affected. The people that's in the game Ain't nothing happening to them.
Yeah.
The people that's out here gang banging and killing and stuff, nothing happening to them. It's just the innocent people that's getting killed and stuff.
That's how it always. That's
This
how
shit
it's
is
been
crazy.
forever.
It's always been like that.
It ain't never changed.
That ain't never
like
changed
that
at all.
forever.
I mean, even with the 17-year-old boy in Pittsburgh. Now I got a real problem with this one because they shot that kid in the back. I saw the video. All he did was run, and then what compiled and made it even worse was the cop just got sworn in that day, 90 minutes before he shot it. He just got sworn in.
Youngin ain't even get 2 steps out the car though, and he just shot.
And he just shot him, let off.
Yeah, that video is.
But just
It's crazy.
like
man.
I said, we see police shootings, we hear police shootings all the time, but the cop got sworn in 90
You know what though?
minutes before
I
that
want to
happened.
say this, and I think I want to send our condolences out to that family as well. I need to know these names so we can send their names. So when we say this, that we really know we talking about them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Next, when we start talking about this from here on, let's make sure we got the names. Because
Yeah.
I want to send our deepest condolences to these families of these kids.
Oh, we can pull them out.
Yeah, we gonna make sure
put
we-
a picture
yeah.
up of him and his name.
When we saw his
again,
picture, I want to know his name.
It's so crazy. When I saw that video, I was thinking about, I ain't saying no names, but a situation when we was on Maple, and the police came and so and so ran up Sherman Avenue. It was gone. You probably know what I'm talking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what if they
What if they just start unloading on him
and started shooting at? That's
just
what I'm
because he
saying.
ran?
I mean, we used to run
and-
all the time.
Running was what you.
Yeah,
what
running
you
was
did.
what you did.
You
Like,
go.
The crazy thing is, if y'all see these comments, I'm gonna get my phone. But the comments that they was putting, I don't know if it was Fox 5. They was saying,
hold on.
"Why did he run?"
Sorry to cut you off.
He shouldn't have
His
ran.
name was Antoine Rose.
Antoine Rose.
yes, you're right
We
about
send
that.
our condolences to the Rose family.
But the comments was saying he shouldn't have ran. Why did he run?
They always
Was
talk
he?
about you shouldn't run.
If you're not guilty, why run?
You run because they're gonna shoot you anyway.
And
That
then-
has nothing to do with
You
him
ran
being
and then
shot.
You got shot.
Exactly.
I mean,
Nothing to do
In
with
the
him
back,
being shot.
in the back. So
People
you was-
are so
you
fucking
was
cruel,
scared
man. It's
because I
crazy,
ran.
man.
We used to run all the time. Like, that was all we ran all the
And if
time.
they catch you, they beat your ass.
Yeah, that was the
Man,
consequence.
Man, you know how many times I done ran for the police?
What? You.
Listen, my brother is the
Yes.
fastest human ever running from the police.
Up
I ain't
gate,
gonna say his name.
jumping gates and everything.
Man, the fastest human ever running
Hey,
from the
Slim,
police.
They jump out. You
Police told my mother, "Hey, your son, man,
go. Put him in
we
track.
tried to catch him. We couldn't.
Put him in track.
We
Oh, my
couldn't.
goodness.
We tried to catch him. We couldn't.
but look, that's enough.
Uphill too.
Yes, that's another thing.
uphill.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, uphill.
I'm glad you said that because that's another thing that a lot of people are talking about. These police are not in the neighborhoods and they don't know these kids.
They don't know nobody.
They don't know these
Yeah.
kids.
They don't know.
See,
nobody.
our
Hey, look,
police,
It's
they-
not policing.
It's
not policing.
Exactly. Our police, they knew us.
Yes, they did.
Some of
They
these
knew
police-
us. So when we ran, we knew we still gonna get caught.
Yeah, because they're
we
gonna
gonna
go
see.
right
They
to
gonna
your
tell your
mama.
mama.
Go to your.
So I mean, they didn't have no reason to shoot us or beat us up or stuff like that.
And the thing about it
And these
is,
kids, the police these days are not doing that.
The thing about
they're
it
not in
is-
they're not in the neighborhoods.
they're trying to do, they're talking about doing mental health training for the officers, especially related to a friend of ours and a colleague. I call him a colleague because me and him were actually really cool in high school.
Yeah.
That
Blair
got
Blaze
Silver
I said a
Spring.
colleague was somebody you work with.
Huh?
Yeah,
No?
that's serious.
Oh no, we worked together. We
Well, y'all
worked
work
together,
together,
but it was different.
Y'all niggas been with it.
It was a different type of. It was a different type of work back then.
I bet.
But
What the fuck? Hey, y'all got something y'all want to tell me on my left?
no, it was a different type of work
Nick,
back
Y'all
then.
got something y'all want to tell me?
Listen,
But
Tell me about this
Listen,
nigga right here.
that
I'm
man,
knocking the mic over.
rest in peace, that man. So the Gam escaped these jokes because rest in peace to him.
No, I called him a colleague because it was some type of work we were doing back then.
What
But
type of
anyway,
work was that?
But anyway, back to the mental health. It's yes, Rob. There he is, right there. Rob White. Am I correct? Yep,
Yeah.
Rob White. So rest in peace to him. But they were talking about, especially in Montgomery County, about doing mental health training for officers, which I don't know is gonna work. Honestly,
Why would you do it now though?
yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Like, why isn't it a standard procedure though? You know
But
you're dealing with like all
'Cause
that. I
everybody
watch
would be
cops. I
fired.
watch cops, and I see a lot of like dealing with mental, like people that's mentally challenged. Like I done seen people get tased and hit with the stun gun and just walk through that shit like it's a bee sting. Because they was on something or because they was, mentally challenged.
That's that boat.
My thing is like, why now? Why isn't that a standard procedure for the police to do before they actually get out here on the street and deal with somebody that's mentally challenged?
But you know they said for new police officers.
Oh.
So the police officers that's already on the duty are not going to get the training.
All right,
it's for new officers. So this shit is
crazy. Let me ask all y'all this one particular question. Do y'all know what they do go through before they become a police officer?
Not that.
I mean, because I
go to the gun range.
Someone say, I'm gonna put it like this: I don't have no goddamn clue what type of training they go through. So, won't we investigate that?
No, we will. No, we'll definitely.
That's gonna be a project I'm gonna get to you boys.
Yeah, no, that's what we'll do.
I want y'all to tell me what they gotta go through before they become.
Yeah, because they have training. They gotta go to police academy. They have to go to counseling. Like that's what they do. But the thing about it is, like we was talking earlier.
He been watching too much TV. I said I want to know.
No.
You just said no. Now you're saying yeah.
What I'm telling you is, I have friends that are cops. I know what they go through.
He talks to the police.
They told me about. Oh, so you don't got friends that's cops? Okay, you don't got friends that's cops?
No, well, I have a mentor that is a cop. Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
But friends that's a cop?
Actually,
I don't have any friends that's cops.
Okay. I got friends that are cops. Shout out Mark Gardner. Shout out Kurt Gilbert. Solid cops. I call my friends because I'm not fake. I call them my friends.
Yeah, I ain't. No, well,
and Mark Hammond. Sorry, Mark Hammond.
Hold on. Well, Kurt was my mentor growing up. Yeah. And Mark and Mark Hammond, Mark Gardner, Big Rich, all them were. I mean, if you want to call them friends, I don't understand. But y'all hung out before?
Me and Kurt used to go to the bar. We used to go to Ruby Tuesdays.
I ain't talking about Kurt because Kurt was Kurt
almost our age.
Hold on, I ain't talking about Kurt. I'm talking about like Mark Gardner, Mark Hammond.
Mark Hammond and Mark Gardner. Well, the
never hung out with them before, so you can't call them your friend.
Who never hung out with them before?
I have.
Do you know what hanging out what that means?
I have.
I done hung out with Mark Hammond a million times. I went to camp with all of them.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, fellas.
Cool human beings.
Cool beings.
But to find out what
true definition of a friend, we not gonna get.
Yeah, no. All right, so I'm talking about that.
But to find out what police do during training is something we do need to figure out.
Yeah, we want to know the exact something. All right, so let's break it down for a second. All right, where we at right now?
I thought you had something to say.
I do got something to say.
Say something.
I do got something to say.
Say what you gonna say.
Talk too slow.
Shout out to Rich, Hammond, and Gardner.
Y'all was getting excited in this motherfucker over fucking who knows.
All right, look. We do have a guest. Look, we do have a guest today, and we're going to talk about this mental health issue.
Yes.
Because to me, I feel like they're using it too loosely.
Everything
and we're going to find out today exactly what is mental health. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Yeah. There you go.
I don't know why you do that because they never cut.
Toot.
Welcome back to the Lounge Boyz show. It's your man Ty Dixon, and I'm in the studio today with Miss, or is it Mrs.? Miss Ty Flood of the AWE group.
Yep, the all group.
The all, is that what y'all say? All?
I say all, yep.
The all group. And all AWE stands for?
Awesome Women of Empowerment.
Come on, you got to speak that into the microphone for me, baby.
Awesome Women of Empowerment
Awesome.
Incorporated.
That's wonderful. Awesome Women of Empowerment. And we are here today to talk about mental health and illness.
Yeah.
So is two separate categories or is considered one?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure.
Mental health is basically the psychological and emotional well-being of an individual. So when you talk about mental illness, it's just like talking about, a physical illness. When your body aches, your body's sick, you're going through certain things. That's the same thing that happens with your mind.
Okay.
So mental illness is basically that balance that's thrown off. Some people call it, chemical imbalance. You may hear therapists say that, where there's just something, going on upstairs that's really not connecting.
Oh, okay. So
Did I throw you off?
I mean, that's kind of heavy. And mental, I'm up here thinking in my head like right now, like
That's deep. That's deep right there.
let me massage my temples, make sure I'm okay. All right, so my next question for you here is, what are the types of mental illness?
So there are over 100 types of mental illness. Some of the main mental illnesses or disorders is depression, which is number one, anxiety. You have bipolar disorder, which is another form of depression. PTSD, even dementia, is a form of a mental illness.
Okay, so is there, so to say, one common sign for all of those, or each one of them have their own particular signs that people should look out for to be in preparation for those type of illnesses?
There are, each disorder has its own kind of, I guess, character. But
Okay.
So for example, folks that are depressed, like I said, depression is one of the number one forms of mental illness. It's actually one of the leading causes of a lot of suicides today.
Okay.
Is when people fall into major depression. So if you're around someone and they're, sad all the time, very sad, very negative, very down and out, if they show signs of, maybe a eating disorder, whether they're not eating a lot or they're eating too much, signs of disorganization, maybe they lack concentration, suicidal thoughts, if they start talking about death and things like that,
Right.
Those are some signs that they may be going through depression or some kind of mental disorder.
Okay, so what are the similarities and differences? Hold on, first let me ask you this before I ask you this next question. So you are a doctor?
I'm not a doctor. I am, first of all, let me just explain what the ALL Group is. So the ALL Group, Awesome Women of Empowerment, is a 501(c) nonprofit. It's an organization that I formed last year. And basically the organization formed to mostly support a lot of the women that I saw that were going through a lot of depression and a lot of anxiety. I also had a friend that committed suicide. And actually, succeeded in suicide.
Well, yeah.
So that really prompted me to say, you know what, we need to stand up. We need to talk more about mental illness. We need to really open up in the community and make sure that people understand what it is.
Okay.
There's a lot of stigma around what mental illness is. That's why it's always hush hush. So that's really what it is. I am a mental health first aider, and I know you guys were speaking about, police, having that first aid training, which I really feel is extremely
You need to go
important.
down there and talk to the police, dog.
So I'm not a psychiatrist or anything like that, but I do study real hard in the mental health field.
Okay, now I got one of my colleagues over here is waving his hand in the air.
He has a question?
He has a question for you. Will you please answer Pound's question?
I just have a quick question. Because in the media, it's like every time something happens, they blame it on mental health. We talking about when a kid, what kid gets killed, oh, he was mentally health. When a kid shoots up a school, oh, he was mentally. I mean, are they using it like in a bad way? Because like the people that's really mentally challenged is, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
if you're white,
it's like messing them up.
It's so funny you say that because when we had a situation where it was one child, another school kind of shooting situation, and honestly, for me, I don't feel that people should say, oh, they're mentally ill, so they're going to go in and shoot up schools. They're going to go in and cause all this, cause crime and all that stuff. That's not true. It's possible, but it's not a characteristic of someone that has a mental illness. That doesn't make them. So do I agree that some of the people that have caused these situations, do they have a mental illness? Possibly, yeah. I don't really think it's a scapegoat, so to speak. Sometimes it does seem like it's like, okay, we're just going to give them a reason to say, this is why they did it. But there are signs that leads up to those situations too.
That's another thing I was going to ask you. Like, as someone being in the community, can you see it? I mean, like,
can you see it?
No, I'm saying not see it like that, but I mean, like, can you like notice it if you're like, I guess, around a person for some time? I mean, you
can. I mean, if you're paying attention, you really have. It's one of those things you really have to know what you're looking for, so to speak. Okay. Like, okay. I mean, you have, if you're hanging with somebody for a long period of time and their personality starts changing and things like that, and you're like, dang, man, you really seem upset. You seem sad all the time. Mm-hmm. They could be going through, they could be definitely sad. And that's why we always say, you never know what someone's going through. Another thing is some of the school shootings and some of those things, a lot of the kids would actually speak more on social media about, coming up to those particular situations. And I actually say that social media is one of those things that people use nowadays as like their suicide letter, or they use it to, kind of almost tell you what they're about to do. So
I'm gonna kill myself tomorrow.
See, like, because being around, I mean, that's crazy because being around someone and you've been around them for whatever time, and like you just said, you see him, he's probably feeling depressed, mm-hmm. or he.
Hold on, Pam, we got a caller.
Oh, here we go.
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen, we got a caller. Lounge Boyz, you on the air? Talk to Ty. Hello.
Call ended.
Are you hung up? You sack of shit. Hey, hang up. Anyway, let's bring it back. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Rude caller hanging up on me and everything. Hey, so look, I think you said this earlier though, but my next question is there one mental illness in particular that you have found people suffer from the most? And I think you said that was depression.
Yeah, depression. I mean, in depression, there's a bipolar side of depression, which includes like mania. They call it like a mania side of depression. That's when there's more mood swings going on. Right. And there's a lot of people that you may not know that have bipolar, and there's certain levels to depression. You have your
another one that I hear people throw around. I'm bipolar.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about the weather being bipolar and things like that.
I mean, that's just angry though, ain't it?
Joke about
bipolar just means you get mad real quick.
No, that's not really.
All right, so break it down, Doc.
Bipolar is definitely one of those tricky kind of disorders because it does seem like it's a mood disorder. It is a mood disorder. It's a mood disorder,
and it means that if you flick off at any given time and do something to somebody else, it's because you didn't take a pill that day.
You have your highs, you have your lows. So somebody that's bipolar, for example, in females, and Jennifer Lewis, who is an actress, and she has bipolar disorder.
Right.
And she's spoken about how, growing up and during her manic phase, so to speak, she was promiscuous. She would just do things crazy. You're just basically a risk taker. You're a risk taker. You really just live life in the moment. Right, that's your high moment where you just do whatever. Then your lowest moment is when you just.
Let's go through each one of these moments, okay. All right? Because I just live in the moment my damn self. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not here to,
No, I'm not saying you're here to. I'm just saying though. I'm trying to make sure I don't have any of these traits. Because you're breaking them down right now, and the way that you're breaking them down, I'm trying to. If you don't put your hand down, this ain't class, boy. The way you're breaking them down and everything is really, sounding like some of my friends might be bipolar. I'm gonna get them some pills.
Now we need it broke down because, like she said, depression. That's kind of hard. Depression is. So you're trying to tell me depression is a mental illness?
Yeah.
That's always been it's in your head.
Okay, but if someone, let's say.
You know what mental is, right?
No, let's say you just lost your job. And you're feeling down. That's not mental illness. It's just you're feeling down because
that's depression. You're depressed.
That's categorized.
But you can get out of that though.
Easy.
You should if you get another job.
Yes, I'm saying if you get another job, then you're out of it. So how can you label?
Or when you get that unemployment check.
Hold on, Josh. How can you label me as mentally ill? If I jump right out of it,
That's a very good question. I mean, because no one really wants to be labeled, so to speak. And like I said, there's different levels to it. There's people that are, that's like we call that kind of like a situational kind of depressive mood, so to speak. That's a situational thing that just happens when certain things happen, and that's a normal thing.
Situational depression.
Yeah, that's a normal thing. Now, someone that has a major depressive disorder, those are the ones that it's every day. Anything they go through, everywhere they are. I mean, they're just majorly depressed every single day. So they may not even want to get out of the bed.
They won't wash their ass.
Yeah, I mean, we actually had one of our group members posted a picture of her room, and her room was just nothing but clutter. I mean, she didn't get up for days. She didn't clean up. She didn't do any of that.
We have a caller, darling. Hey, we got a caller. Hold on 1 second. Lounge Boyz, you on the air?
Good evening. This is Marvin Whitfield.
Hey, Marvin. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, Marvin?
I'm fine. What's going on?
Thank you for calling in today.
Oh, no problem. Can y'all hear me? Everything is good?
Yeah, we can hear you very loud and clear.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys. Thank the Lounge Boyz for this opportunity and also for the show. You guys are opening a dialogue about mental illness that's often a sensitive subject, especially in the communities of people of color. Mm-hmm. So hopefully this type of dialogue can lead to positive discussions about
it. Hey, Marvin, so you think people of color don't really believe in it?
Say it again.
I say, so do you think that people of color really don't believe in it?
It's a loaded question because, I mean, everybody is different. I usually don't like to speak in generalities. One man is different from the other in terms of how we deal with things. But overall, from my own experience, it's been twofold. On one hand, you have individuals or people of color in certain groups who they go by the method of everything will be all right, you'll bounce back, don't worry about it, it's all in your head. Right. And then you have a group of people who may be invested in the wellness part, but not really the diagnosis, not really the whole process of it or the individuality of it. We all have different things that we go through, different stresses, different triggers that we go through. I'm not an expert, but I have my own stresses, just like you guys have your own stresses, and how we deal with them. It goes on. It goes from our upbringing to what's going on in our lives, our relationships. It's a lot of different factors, but for the most part, I just see us as a group of people who, because we've had situations in our history where we've had to be so strong that sometimes it's seen as a weakness that we can overcome easily through methods outside of meditation, meditation, and other things.
Okay. Brad, you got a question for him?
So real quick, hey Marvin, what's going on, man? This is Bradley. For those who don't know, Marvin definitely was a brother of the young man that got killed in Silver Spring recently by Montgomery County Police. That was shot and killed.
Hey, condolences, man.
And
thank you.
so not to generalize it, let's focus more on specific aspects of it, having to deal with Robert and some of the issues he might have been dealing with, and just the whole situation that brought upon this unfortunate situation. So if you could speak on that, speak on Robert's situation a little bit, and how the focus of mental health is something that needs to be talked about, amongst police, everybody, and everything. So if you can just, get specific with it a little bit, Marvin, we appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. And first and foremost, it's a tragedy. I wanted to state emphatically, my brother, Robert Lawrence White, born January 21st, 1977, and pronounced deceased June 11th, 2018. He lived 41 years on this big blue marble we call Earth. And, for the first part of his life, I was there all the way up until the end. I'm proud to say I was his friend and brother for over 35 years. And as a humanist, I don't like anyone to die, but death is a part of life. However, certain situations that come about, like this one, is tragedy involved because he had so much more life to live. It's an ongoing investigation, so I won't get into details involving the investigation itself. I can say that on June 11th, he lost his life due to an altercation with law enforcement. Information is out there in the internet. Things are being changed around, and one of the big narratives is what we're speaking about here, which is mental illness. And there's many assumptions in the matter. I just want to say that I want to reinforce that quick judgment should never be the way we as humans form opinions of others. This show with you brothers, this show reinforces that men of color are more than just stereotypes. We're sons, we're fathers, we're nephews, uncles, stepfathers, and in the case of my brother Rob, he was the godfather of my daughter. So it really hit home. We've had all these things in the news where we've experienced tragedy in the form of Trayvon Martin, Khalif Browser. You can name the names that, they become part of our lexicon when we're discussing certain things. But in this particular case, it really had to deal with certain factors that were around Rob at the time that we'll lump together and say it's mental illness. Now, my brother, as I said before, we all have different things, different stresses that we deal with. Rob was on medication for certain ailments, certain things that he had. He had a background where he lost his mother from cancer. I can relate to that because I lost my mom from cancer. And even having a conversation with one of his ex-girlfriends, she expressed to me, I remember the day after his mother died, Rob said he was alone in a world full of people. And he expressed that to me, and it triggered something in me where I thought about the times before and after his mother died. And there was quite a profound change in him mentally. He would go off into a place that he wanted to feel like there was still light there, but you could see the darkness entering him. And then he lost his dad a couple of years back. So right there, those are two big, profound triggers in his life. And that could take a toll on anyone. Yeah. I mean, as life goes, we're supposed to be the ones, unfortunately, to bury our parents and not the other way around.
Yeah, definitely.
Right,
yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Well, real quick, we got to shoot to a commercial real quick. Marvin, hold on the line. Definitely appreciate your output. We're going to shoot to commercial, and then we're going to come right back. So just hold on the line for us.
Yeah, after this little short commercial break, we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Welcome back. We back, ladies and gentlemen, on the Lounge Boyz show, and I am here with another Ty, Miss Ty Flood. TNT up this thing today. I done kicked the rest of the Lounge Boyz the fuck out of the studio.
I'm still here.
Oh shit. I knew it was a leprechaun hiding in this motherfucker somewhere. God damn it, that's my dog. And we still got Mark on the phone, so we're going I think Marvin, my bad. Sorry, I called you Mark. I'll get it together. So Ty wants to ask Marvin some questions, so we're gonna bring him back in. Marvin, you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey now. All right, so our special guest on the show, Ty Flood, wants to ask you a question.
Hi, Marvin. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Once again, my condolences to you and your family. You really spoke about some major things that really goes on. One of the things, triggers, and that's something that I always talk about when I speak at certain things, is understanding people's triggers and how to aid them in those triggers as a mental health first aider. So you did speak and said, and I know you can't really speak too much on this situation, but do you know when he realized the triggers were really starting to affect him, and that's when he started taking medication, or was he taking medication way before the deaths of his parents came?
He was taking medication beforehand, but as a person that even I'm prescribed and I take medication myself for antidepressant and anxiety, it's oftentimes where things are regulated, and if you don't recalibrate them, if you don't see your physician, if you don't, speak, if you don't talk about your feelings, which I feel a lot of us in our community do not do for fear of being judged as weak or not masculine or whatever the case may be, then it's almost like still taking children's vitamins and you're 40 years old.
I agree.
Yeah, sure, you're getting your vitamins, but you're not getting what you need properly at that stage in your life.
So it seems like you both, were kind of, you guys were very close, and both of you, obviously dealt with the same kind of maybe depressive disorders and taking medication for it. Was there any kind of sign that you probably had saw where he was just really to that point where you felt maybe you had to, maybe seek other additional counsel for him, or maybe call a crisis line for him or anything like that? Was you able to get to that point?
Yeah, absolutely. When his father died, and again, I consider him family. I recently even, talked to his aunt who was here from out of state to attend to these matters. One of the things was we talked about that incident where his dad was withering away. I remember seeing his dad maybe a couple of weeks before he died, and Rob was at a state where he was trying to reach out to family, and for certain situations, it wasn't going the way he wanted it. And so at one point, I was saying to him, I could come over, we could discuss it. And he said, it's to the point where I don't feel like living in this house anymore. And his dad died, and then I started seeing this change where he no longer was taking care of himself in the manner that I knew him to do from past experiences, whether it was just going back to in conversation to a time which was happier to him. A good quick example of that would be discussing the happier times when we were younger and not wanting to leave that alone. Discussing, times of my daughter at a certain age prior to his parents dying and sticking to that. It's almost like I always say, being suspended in time. And so that's when I started really reaching out and saying, hey, if we got to talk, what you want me to do? And it was almost a blockade. He would say that I'm good. I'm good. Gotcha. And I knew he wasn't.
Okay. Hey, Marvin, man, we want to send our condolences to you and your family and everything. But we're gonna wrap this conversation up at this particular time because we got some more of the show that we're trying to get through.
Yeah. Thank you.
We got one.
Again, I just
want you to go ahead and give your last words, man. You know what I'm saying? For your brother and everything, for your family.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got any last words, brother?
Yeah. Again, I just want to reiterate to everyone that at the end of the day, no matter who we are, what we look like, we should never just be quick to judge someone based on assumptions, physical attributes, anything of that matter. Get to know a person, and you can actually look and see certain signs in them. And if they're crying out for help in ways that you don't understand, seek help for them. Okay. These strategies can be probably lessened or even eliminated once we stop to talk to one another and we say, can I help you?
Right. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, buddy. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to bring the Lounge Boys back over here. We're going to get back crazy like I like to do at the end of this show.
All right. Thanks, Bob.
Right. Thank y'all. We'll be
right
back.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Marvin. We talk to you later, brother.
Yes.
All right.
All right. We're back, ladies and gentlemen, and we still have I brought the rest of my clowns back.
Yeah.
Along, so Miss Ty can meet them.
Hey, we want to thank.
Sorry if it's overwhelming.
You know
we definitely want to thank Marvin for calling in, man. For,
Definitely.
Thanks, Marvin.
Yeah.
for giving us those insights about Rob, man, and then a good friend of all of ours.
I don't of y'all.
Well, Ty don't know, but
I don't know the dude,
But still.
No, I don't say that though. I don't want him to be.
I really
So before we leave, though, hold on. Before you go, and I want you to tell us and tell everyone how they can find you and how they can find some resources to help them with mental health and illnesses.
Oh, yeah. So the All Group, you can find us at the All Group. That's THEAWE Group on Facebook and Instagram, as well as theallgroup.org. Okay. For resources, some of my favorite resources for those that are dealing with mental illness or they have friends and family and they just want to get a little bit more information, you can, and actually I wrote some of them down so I don't forget.
She got a whole book over here for us.
I don't have no whole book over here. Is NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. They're a worldwide national, they have so many different things on their website. They're worldwide, like I said. Also National Institute of Mental Health America as well. And crisistextline.org or texting home to 741-741, which is in the U.S., which is something I always give to people is the crisis text line because that's an automatic thing. And one of the things as a mental health first aid is if you see someone that's dealing with a mental health issue or they're going through one of their episodes, calling the crisis help text line, you can call them and have that person, on speaker and they can walk you or talk you through how to help calm that person down or things like that.
Now, I know I didn't ask this question earlier, but I should have. Have you ever dealt with any type of mental situation yourself?
I have. I've dealt with depression, anxiety, and it's interesting, I was going to say with Marvin, because a lot of the stuff can be genetic. So I do have it in my family as well. And just as he spoke, obviously in his family and things like that. So one of the things that I definitely want to say is when you feel any kind of moment where you feel like oh my gosh, something just don't feel right, get it checked out. Ask about your family history, and you were talking about black people, not a lot of the families when you grow up, you hear about that crazy uncle or that crazy aunt, and
we got a pound.
Yeah,
so if every time we get feel a little situation because of pound, should we call y'all? Y'all phone gonna blow up
it's
every
crazy.
day.
It's crazy you said that because I was going to ask the fellow Lounge Boyz. Now that we know a lot more about the mental health, now how do y'all handle stress situations, and do y'all think that y'all mentally ill?
I just look at it in the face and take it for what it's worth. I'm crazy. Fuck it. It's gonna be what it is. Let's rock and roll.
You might have issues.
Yeah, he has issues. Well, no, it's one of them things where, like I said, we've all had ups and downs in our life, and we've been through stuff, and stuff goes through your head, and you have times where you think life can't get no worse. It's already as bad as it can get, and then that set of depression sets in, and some people handle it. Everybody handles it a different way. You know what I'm saying? Everybody handles it a different way. Like,
a little different way.
Growing up, I've had a lot of letdowns and a lot of depression. So it's one thing that I'm kind of used to. So, I don't handle it in a drastic fashion. But there's some people who this is not the norm, or this is not what they're used to, or something they can cope with because they haven't been on that level and don't know about it. So with me, it's just one of them things where I'm a firm believer in God. I pray. I do all that good stuff, and it's just one of them things is that's the way I handle it. And my number one motto that I keep with me through life is it could always be worse.
I got a question.
Slow down, Ty.
What you think, Nick?
What's up, Nick?
Damn, Ty. Yeah, I was seeing you just.
Hey, Joe. Hey, Nick.
I was over there mumbling, but while Gary was talking,
he's a mumble rapper. Give it.
I was thinking about something, Nick.
I know. I see.
You gotta hear this though, Nick. Hey, Nick. Trust me, you gotta hear this.
Well, go ahead, Ty. Go ahead.
No, I'm not going. I wrote it down, Nick. Go ahead. I'm right.
All right, go ahead, Nick. What you gonna say, Nick? What you gonna say, Nick? Go ahead.
What you gonna say?
No, as far as like handling stress and stressful situations, different people handle it different ways. So
true.
Like being in the relationship that I'm in, the marriage that I'm in, my wife deal with hers through God and her faith and everything.
Hallelujah.
So, I mean, it kind of like I kind of got to that point, kind of, but I lean more to that point rather than doing something crazy or lashing out and all this other, like going a different route about it. Like it's easier to go that way and put it on God and let God deal with it.
True.
Than to blame it on self or somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we all know really it's going to get better and it's going to be better. Yeah. Regardless if you work it out or what you believe, and it's all going to get better and it all will be better. But if you don't believe in a higher power, if you don't believe in self, then that's when you go down that whole lane of trying to destroy something else and being more depressed about certain small situations that you don't have to be depressed about to the full extent of what you probably depressing about. Like if a girl leave you, a girl will leave you. It's
plenty more pussy out here.
You don't have to kill everybody that she done ever talked to because she left you. Like
it's more pum pum, baby.
Like there's definitely triggers, and everyone, like you said, everyone's different, and every trigger is different. One trigger for somebody may be different for another. That may set them off. And like you said, believing in something higher, learning different coping mechanisms versus being addicted to drugs and alcohol, which a lot of people who suffer with mental illness, that's their first thing. A girlfriend of mine, that was her thing. She lost her parents. Kind of the same story. She lost her parents and she lost herself in return. She started getting addicted to, cocaine and things like that until, she kind of basically a few days after Mother's Day, she was just like, I can't do it anymore. So when you feel like you're alone, no one understands you, I really think it's really important, for people to just stay open, stay positive, always be that listening ear for someone, because just because you may handle it one way doesn't mean that other person may. So sometimes you may not understand what's going on in their mind. Sometimes they don't even understand. They just know they feel the way that they feel, and they just ready for that feeling to go away.
I got you. Now, y'all gonna hate me for this one, but I want to know one thing. Is ADHD the gateway to mental illness?
Nope.
What?
Nope.
No.
All right, cool. Let's go next.
ADHD is what they diagnose kids
that's a
with.
mental illness, right?
I don't think so.
It's a detention disorder, so it's all in your mind.
Yeah, but everybody's ADHD though.
See, it's a mental illness.
Everybody's ADHD.
It falls under that category, right?
How long can you sit and watch something before you get distracted by something else? Exactly.
You're distracted
ADHD,
right now.
Man,
you're distracted right now.
Like don't let the school system or these counselors,
but they do classify that as a mental illness,
these
correct?
People tell you your kids are something and make
you
medicate your
think
kids.
About it though.
And make you medicate your kids because your kids can't
think about what I'm saying
for
though.
2 seconds.
So that's leading them to the point where they got having a mental illness because you telling them out the gate.
What's leading them to the point is you taking that advice and medicating your kids when they don't need to be medicated. That's what's doing it.
When do you medicate somebody for mental illness?
There's steps to it.
And we're going to hold that right there, and we'll be back with y'all next week. Lounge Boyz, we out.
Now, where we going?
Well, we out already?